Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So recently we've been talking more and more about the midterms. The primary cycle is over. We are heading full force into the general election. There has been a little bit of dooming among a lot of people in the right wing, and there's been a lot of psyoping going on at the hands of the election mafia with a lot of the recent polls that are dropping, with a lot of the reasons they're giving for the recent underperformance of Republicans in some of these special elections that don't entirely tell the full story. They are being extremely disingenuous, but nevertheless, the wave continues. It's continuing throughout the entire country, whether it is the Rust Belt, Middle America, just in general, or in the Sun Belt, which basically just indicates states in the South that don't really always just focus on the Southeast, your Arizona, your Nevada, your Texas, your Georgia, Florida, etc. That's all the Sun Belt. And we have recent polling out of the Sun Belt out of several states that indicates that, yes, Republicans are going to retake the Senate off of this alone. And furthermore, they are going to regain or at least hold some of these high-profile governorships that a lot of people are saying are going to be extremely contested. Now, I will preface this by talking about Trafalgar. These polls are Trafalgar polls. Trafalgar has a reputation of being a right-leaning pollster. However, in 2020, they were correct and in some states actually underestimated Republicans slightly. However, I will say that in recent polls, they have actually been underestimating Republicans. And you might say, how do you know that? Because all the election mafia polls, they tend to be in line with them in places like Ohio. South Carolina, they're underperforming Republican candidates compared to even some Democrat internals. They had, R+8 with McMaster, the governor there, and the Dem internal has McMaster up 11. So I don't know what's going on with Trafalgar, if it's summer response bias or what the deal is there. But either way, just taking these polls at face value and analyzing them and looking into them, it's pretty obvious to understand here that Republicans are in good shape and probably can get in some better shape as the primary, not just the primary cycle because that's over, but the general election cycle goes on, because we still have a little bit over 2 months to go and they are in good shape. So we'll dive into this, but I have to tell you guys about redeaglepolitics.com. Again, I've resumed making my exclusive content, extra videos there you are not going to see on the main channel. I did a video on why Oz and Vance will probably win by a decent amount compared to what you would expect. I did a video recently, just yesterday, on Trump's effect on the 2022 midterms. It's a great video. It is worth checking out because there's been a lot of people lately that are pointing fingers, but the numbers and the metrics that we've seen don't add up regarding Trump's influence. And you could also join the Discord server, read my articles, etc. It's all there at redeaglepolitics.com, just $5 a month. That is 16 cents a day. Make sure to sign up. The link is in the pinned comment down below. But Georgia is a state that's been moving away from the Republican Party as of recent. It's been doing this since the 1980s if you look at the Atlanta suburbs alone. Now, thankfully, we've bought time because the rural areas have gotten redder, but a lot of them are maxed out right now. And in the 2020 election, you could see there were massive leftward shifts in the Atlanta suburbs, and we saw that in 2016, 2012 even to an extent in some of these counties. But either way, this is a state that is still competitive this cycle in 2022. I don't know about 2024 and beyond. It's possible Trump could pick it off if he runs and Biden runs and is still unpopular. But as of right now, I would say that Georgia is still going to be a close state, especially at the Senate level. And you have incumbent radical liberal Raphael Warnock, is what his opponent Kelly Loeffler called him back in the 2021 runoff cycle, which was an abysmal nickname. She ran an awful campaign and lost by a couple of points or so, mainly thanks to Mitch McConnell. Of course, they'll blame Trump for it, like they blame Trump for literally everything. But right now, Herschel Walker is in the lead. And Trafalgar's not the only poll that shows this. There was an Emerson poll, which is not exactly a right-leaning pollster, that showed Herschel Walker ahead of Raphael Warnock by 2 percentage points or so. And we know that Trafalgar likes to poll the third parties, and third-party vote share typically decreases as time goes on, it will eventually decrease compared to where it is right now. You'll probably see the vote share for Chase Oliver dip, especially as people know that when you have somebody that gets the most votes in round one, even if it's by a couple of points, that in a runoff, it could screw you over. We saw that with David Perdue. He got the most votes in round one, but he got like 49.8 or something like that, and he ended up falling short in the runoff. If there was no Shane Hazel, the libertarian there, he would have easily advanced and would not have needed to go to a runoff in the first place, so keep that in mind. But either way, Herschel Walker, the football legend, he's on top. And yet people saying, oh, well, he's not like the most well-spoken guy. He isn't necessarily going to have much of a chance in a debate. But these are the same people that are dooming on Oz and think that John Fetterman, who cannot complete a sentence to really save his life at this point, is like the best candidate in the world. Those people don't exactly know what they're talking about. Is Walker like the most substantive guy when it comes to policy? No, but he's running a campaign as a generic Republican who is a close ally and friend of Donald Trump's, but is still a Republican who brings something else to the table. He is a legend in the state of Georgia. He is somebody who was a football player, a Heisman winner, somebody that's beloved. He did very well in the primary with minimal effort because of that fact alone. And Warnock is somebody with a lot of scandals and skeletons in his closet that were not properly exploited by the Loeffler campaign. And I don't know if Herschel Walker wants to touch that department regarding the domestic abuse, because he's got some skeletons in his closet on his own, but they're really not going to affect him, in my opinion, either way. And there's much substance to attack Warnock on, mainly his just shilling for the Biden agenda and the Biden administration there. So it looks like Georgia, that's a flip you could write down right now. And if that flip happens, Republicans are going to be at least at 50. If they hold Pennsylvania, which I think that they will, and Oz is gaining momentum as we speak, they're already going to be at 51. They've regained the Senate right there. Democrats are saying they have like a 70% chance at holding the Senate. I think these people, I don't even know what universe that they're exactly living in, but again, the election mafia, they're at it again, literally at it again. We have round two. You know, we took out the election mafia in 2020. We dealt with the basement caucus, electabros, etc. in the primaries this cycle, took another victory there. And now we have to go after the election mafia again because they are lying through their teeth. It is crazy what we're seeing right here. But then the Georgia governor's race, Brian Kemp, yeah, we know the deal with him, but he's going up against Stacey Abrams. And Stacey Abrams would utterly destroy the state beyond repair, which if you're an accelerationist, you know, maybe you have a different view on this race. But either way, Brian Kemp is probably going to win. Is he sort of a rhino? Yes, weak on immigration, especially compared to how he campaigned. He's incentivizing liberal businesses, or at least has to come into the state of Georgia. But either way, he's got a 7-point lead. He will likely end up winning. He will do better in the suburbs this time than he did in 2018, and Stacey Abrams is not really running that great of a campaign. So you talk about the control of the governorships, it is very possible that after the 2024 election, Democrats won't even have a governorship in the South because they're likely going to lose Kentucky and Louisiana next year. They already lost Virginia. They will likely lose North Carolina to Mark Robinson in 2024. They exactly don't even have a state in the South at that point that they will have dominion over, which is pretty funny. Ironically, Shane Hazel, who ran for the Senate race last time, is running for the governorship this time, so he's probably not going to really have that much of an impact here because it's not expected to be as close, and a lot of polls agree that Kemp has a big lead there. So Georgia is going to hold for the Republicans this cycle, in my opinion. Will they flip that southwestern district? I believe it's, what, the 2nd district? I don't know. It doesn't seem like it at this point, but it could be close if the wave ramps up as we get closer, which I anticipate that it will. So furthermore, we have to talk about the state of Arizona because we've been told for so long by so many bad faith actors, mainly on the right wing, that Kari Lake would not have a chance. She would have no chance at winning. She could not defeat Katie Hobbs. And again, this is not the only poll that shows this. I believe there was another poll out of Emerson that has Lake ahead by even a greater margin than this, but it shows Lake at 47. If you round up, she's ahead of Katie Hobbs, who is an unhinged lunatic. Kari Lake is pivoting well to the general election. Katie Hobbs is not even choosing to pivot. She's, pressing on the same way she did during the primary. She's extremely unlikable, extremely far left on a lot of issues. You could even say she's like the John Fetterman of the state of Arizona, except she doesn't have like the big dude aesthetic necessarily. And Katie Hobbs is in a very tough position. She's down there at 46. I don't even know if she's going to get much higher than that as we get closer and closer to the general election. And you have the Libertarian third-party vote share might even decrease as we get closer as well. That will likely help Kari Lake and get her above 50%. I believe this may not even be that close at the end of the day. I know Richard Barris is polling Arizona as we speak, and he claims that Kari Lake is up by a ridiculous margin, like she's up by 7 or more. And his polling was a little bullish on AZ last time, so, take that as you will. But either way, it's very likely that Lake is doing well with independents and well enough with them because Katie Hobbs is so unlikable and better with independents than anybody really expected, to the point where, in my opinion, it is likely that she's going to end up winning by at least a lean margin, in my opinion. I could see her win by close to 5, if not by even more than that at the end of the day. We'll really just have to wait and see as we get closer, and the higher her margin is, a lot of people are saying that could help Blake Masters in the Senate race. Now, I might disagree with that because Arizona typically is a state that likes to split their ticket, and you had people talk about this before the primary. They say Lake will weigh down Masters, or Masters will weigh down Lake or Robson or whatever because nobody knew what the nominee was. Now, I believe that all of those arguments were nonsense. However, I don't really believe that Arizona is a state where if you have a strong governor at the top of the ticket that it's going to help the Senate race. If you look at 2018, you look at 2016, 2006, whatever year in the past, Arizona typically is a state where it's all over the place, a lot of ticket splitting going on there. And the Senate race could very well have a different result. Now, right now in this poll, Trafalgar has Blake Masters behind by a couple of points. Of course, they have the Libertarian. Again, they're polling the Libertarian. They should just poll a category for other. The Libertarian is 4%. I would assume a lot of those voters will probably end up going to Blake Masters at the end of the day. Even give him half the margin right there. He's already at 46%, and Kelly as an incumbent is far below 50%. And this is with Kelly spending like crazy and McConnell pulling the funding away from Blake Masters, where he's not really able to run his commercials right now. So, of course, I believe right now Kelly has a lead. But at the end of the day, which, again, they came to a deal right here. McConnell and Thiel are closing on an agreement to get Masters that money finally. Well, it seems as if he may be able to gain in the stretch and will probably be on the right track to defeat Mark Kelly at the end of the day. But either way, I don't believe that the governor's race is going to have an impact on the Senate race or vice versa, at least in my opinion. But I do believe that Blake Masters has the momentum. Mark Kelly as an incumbent in pretty much every poll we've seen, even the polls that have him up by like 7, which is not going to happen, have him below 50%. Long way to go. I think that Masters is going to be in the driver's seat. I think he's going to win by like 2 to 3 at the end of the day, for all we know. And we also have to talk about the other state, Nevada, which does exist, by the way. Trafalgar recent polling has Joe Lombardo above Steve Sisolak. Steve Sisolak is below 45% as an incumbent in the state of Nevada. And again, Lombardo is somebody who is decent, not perfect, but overall decent, like B-tier governor material. He is from Clark County. He held elected office in Clark County over the past decade. And as a result, I really do believe that at the end of the day, he will win and he will pull through, because Nevada is a state that is moving right. The Dems are in disarray with their whole operation in the state, and Clark County's moved to the right. Even in 2020, it moved to the right, trended to the right compared to the national environment by 3.5%, swung to the right by 1.4%. I believe Nevada's a state that's going to go red. You look at the voters there that make up the largest share of the population, Hispanics and white working class voters. Republicans have been doing a little bit better with both as of recent. I think that's going to be enough to pull Lombardo over the finish line and to take Adam Laxalt to the Senate over the very overrated Catherine Cortez Masto, who right now also sits below 45%. And this is not the only poll that shows it. The polls with Cortez Masto ahead typically have her well below 50, a lot of time left. Still a decent amount of undecideds, but either way, I think Laxalt, he's got a very big name in the state. Dynasty, obviously his father was big. He's been the elected AG back in 2014. He overperformed in 2018. I believe Laxalt's going to end up winning. I think he's going to, obviously Lombardo's going to win too. And at the end of the day, Nevada's a state that is going to become a red state out of nowhere, just like Florida did, was a swing state, except Florida, you know, was, I guess you would say, a right-leaning swing state. Nevada's seen as more of a left-leaning swing state. I think that Nevada is going to become a state that Republicans are going to do well in. They're not going to win it by like a super wide margin, but I think that their operation is going to get stronger. And by the end of the decade, it's a state that's going to go red by around 5 points or so, which is very interesting at a time where other states that have grown similarly, such as Georgia and to a lesser extent Arizona, have moved to the left over the past decade. Nevada, again, different educational demography there, tends to be moving to the right. And yes, Californians are moving there, but a lot of the Californians moving to Nevada tend to be conservative Californians, which, by the way, do exist. I mean, Trump got more votes, raw votes at least, in California than I believe any other state, mainly because California is so big. And a lot of people moving out of California are not as liberal as a lot of conservative media or media in general likes to make that out to be. But either way, you're looking at, obviously, if all three of these races go red, 52 Senate seats off the bat. That assumes that Republicans wouldn't even hold Pennsylvania, which I believe they will. So everybody's dooming. I don't really see the need to doom. The math is still there. The logic adds up. And the red wave will continue. Do I know the final margin? No, but we'll analyze it as we get closer. This is my last video in the month of August. Tomorrow, Reptember starts. We have the beginning of Reptember. It will be a great month of content for you guys here. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and join the website. The link is in the pinned comment. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.